Greetings of the day, my fellow listeners, and welcome to another edition of Building Better Businesses. My name is Steve Eschbach. I'm a business owner here in Chicagoland. I own Transworld Business Advisors of Naperville, one of the largest business brokerage firms in the nation. We have about 250 offices worldwide. There are about 5 or 6 of us here in Chicagoland, and we primarily assist business owners realizing their dreams. And you can do that a number of ways. You can do that by exiting your business and setting aside some funds for retirement. You could do that by strategically aligning with another business that makes sense for you to merge with. Or you can also be your own business looking to expand via acquisition. So we have a number of ways in which we can help you continue to grow if that's where you want to go. We also do franchise development. So if you decide that you wanted to expand via the franchise model, we have a team in place to assist you there. And last but not least, we also sell franchises to executives in transition. And I've sold about a half a dozen of those to former executives in the corporate world. Today, we're going to talk about a very, very interesting subject that I have not really touched on, and it has to do with business credit. And that may sound relatively simple and straightforward, but I'm delighted to have Linda Hynes here with Galt Business Services. In the background there, you can see she is a business credit consultant and a managing partner at Galt. And first of all, Linda, thank you very much for taking time and joining us here today.
Thank you for having me, Steve.
Yeah, we look forward to your insights here. As I said, it's a topic that I think has some facets to it that many of us may not be aware of. But before we do that, first of all, Linda, I'd like to learn a little bit more about you. I'm going to have you rewind your videotape. Now that you're a business credit consultant and a managing partner with Galt, how did things begin for you when you were a little girl pedaling your tricycle on the local street? What did you dream about doing when you were an adult?
Well, I did dream of having a professional career, and I knew very, very young that I wanted to complete my education and attend college. But I grew up in Flint, Michigan. I attended Coolidge Elementary School, and then I attended Davison High School, also in Michigan, and I graduated from Oakland University with my bachelor's degree, which is in Rochester Hills.
So you weren't planning on being a business credit consultant back then. When you were in your formative years, what were some of your interests, and how did that kind of play a part as to what you're doing today?
Well, I started working for Buick in high school as a high school co-op student, and I attended General Motors Institute, which is now called Kensington, and that's in Flint, Michigan. And then shortly after that, I decided I didn't want to be an engineer, so I was able to go abroad, and I attended school in Vienna, Austria, and studied more art. So I went right from engineering to doing a little bit of language and art and history. And then I finished my degree in economics. And then I moved out to California after that so that I could, and that's when I started working in asset-based lending. So that was my first job was in asset-based lending in Los Angeles. And so that is a form of business credit, and I worked in factoring as well. And then I did a conversion with a software company. So then I decided to join the software company, and I moved up to San Francisco. And I lived there for 20 years. And I worked for Stucky Associates, and we were the leader in commercial finance, asset-based lending, and factoring software. So I installed it in a lot of businesses, a lot of institutions. So I understood the back office of a lot of business credit.
Absolutely.
And what brings me to Chicagoland is the pandemic changed everything. The pandemic had tremendous changes for me, but I resigned from the software company and joined JP Morgan so that I could install the largest asset-based lending software system built by Stucky Associates. So that brought me to Chicago, and it was a 3-year project. And that's how I just moved from San Francisco to Chicago, and now I'm in Chicagoland. And my project with JP Morgan has ended. So now I'm with Galt, which is a whole new world.
Yeah, and I want to spend some more time about this whole new world because you and I had a conversation last week, generally speaking, about what it is you do now, and I think your subject area is something that may get overlooked by many small business owners. Am I correct about that?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So, what have you learned with all the business owners that you've met with in terms of understanding what they know about business credit and what you and your firm recommends they do going forward? And the thing I like about what your firm does is not only are you enhancing the credit of the business, but you're also enhancing the credit of the personal uh, person itself. So, talk a little bit more about that and have our audience understand that a little bit better.
Well, what we've learned is that most business owners don't understand the difference between personal credit, business credit, and corporate credit. So we help business owners separate their personal credit from their business and stop using personal guarantees. So personal credit builds automatically when you turn 18 years old. They start tracking your social security number. And then business owners form their LLCs to protect themselves and to separate their family and their business and their assets from their business to protect themselves. But they start using personal guarantees in their business. So only 3% of businesses have true business credit right now, and Galt is out to change that. But business credit is built on the taxpayer ID for the business, which is your EIN. So that is true corporate credit. And we have a system to help business owners build their true corporate credit, which doesn't require a personal guarantee. So then we help them separate their personal credit from their business credit by building a strong business credit score.
So, what are some of the things that you recommend for business owners? And let's just say you're meeting a business owner for the first time. What are some of the fact-finding questions that you'd be asking the business owner to A, get an understanding of where they're at, B, maybe give them suggestions for first steps, and then C, longer-term implementation items for them to consider?
Well, we do a discovery call to learn a little bit more about their business and find out what their plans are for the next 5 years, find out how they are funding their business, and ask them questions about their cash flow and their growth. Because a lot of business owners who are personal guaranteeing or self-funding their businesses are not able to grow at a rate that they wanted because they're self-funding. And we also talk about what is the value of your business if you're not in it. And a business that has a strong business credit score, separate from the owner's personal credit score, is more valuable.
So tell me a little bit more about the process. We looked at one of the graphics you had, and I think it's a multi-step approach. Is it 7 steps to get you
It
where?
is 7 steps, and it's a journey. So it does take a little bit of time to build your corporate business credit, but corporate business credit grows much faster than personal credit. So we do have a process. When you become a Galt member, you will work with a certified credit analyst who will give you white glove credit counseling. So you would get on a call and answer a few very basic questions about your business. And the first thing that we want to do is make our members look good on paper, make them look fundable and credible and legitimate. And most credit applications get declined because of fraud, but that's really inaccurate information. One little known factor is that businesses have to be registered with the 411 business directory if they want to get corporate credit. Otherwise, it's an automatic decline. But we know.
I'm sorry, is that an easy process to do to get?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is, but we will help you with that. That's all part of our service. Some of the other processes might be a little bit more difficult, but we want to take a look at everything that a bank is going to look at through LexisNexis, as far as, what you register with the Secretary of State and your merchant services account. We just make sure everything's in order so that when we start the process, you're ready to go.
So you had mentioned earlier that only about 3% of businesses actually have some kind of credit score related to their business. What are some of the top two or three items that stand out with business owners when you first meet with them? And what would you recommend that if a business owner wanted to do something to start improving that, what can they do immediately, actually, before getting involved with your firm?
Well, in order to get involved with our firm, all they need to do is have an EIN or be ready to start up and get their LLC, because we can start working with them immediately or work with mature businesses. But what we have learned is that a lot of business owners didn't understand business credit. Business credit is built on a score of 0 to 100. Most of them have never even looked at their own business credit report. And also that business owners may not understand the true value of their company. And if they were planning on an exit strategy, whether they want to grow and scale, they can't do it with their personal credit efficiently.
So I think what I'm hearing you say is that too many business owners actually use their own personal assets to beef up their business financing to get to the next level. And I think what I'm hearing you say is that you have a system whereby you're able to separate the two. And talk a little bit more about how that enhances the business and how that enhances the person outside of the business.
Well, a business that has a strong business credit score, which is over 80 at the tier 4, is going to have access to capital that's going to be at the most attractive interest rates without any personal guarantees. But once your business has a strong business credit score, it's going to have lower interest rates. And when you start using your corporate credit, and your personal credit is going to improve as you stop using your personal credit in your business. And then on a personal level, you are going to have better and lower insurance rates for your home and your auto. But also, then you're not using your personal guarantees, your home, and your savings in your business. So you're really using the bank's money to grow and run your business. And we're not a lender, so we are not encouraging people to get loans. But if you have access to a line of credit that will allow you to get through a slow cycle or a pandemic, or allow you access to grow and scale your business, that's going to have no personal guarantees, that's what business owners really need.
So I would assume that having a track record of growing revenues, growing profit, play an important part of that, or is that something I'm overstating? That would
Well,
have to be.
not in our process. So our process is a process where we make sure you're fundable and credible. Then you have to intentionally go register with your credit bureaus. And that's something that you do with our credit analysts will help you get you through that process. And you have to intentionally register, and you have to claim your business. So it's not like personal credit where it starts building automatically. And then when you're working with our suite, you have access to thousands of lenders, and your credit analyst will sit with you, and you'll have to start off building your corporate credit small, and then it's going to continue to grow. So you start off selecting your vendors. We know which one's going to report to which credit analyst. In order for them to work with us, they have to give us all of their approval criteria. So you're going to start with net 30 terms. And then we want to see some good payment history in 2 months. And then when it's time for you to move to the next level, your credit analyst and you will work on that together. There's 4 tiers. So when you move, you're growing to larger lenders with more attractive rates, more extended terms. And at some point, you'll get to universal money, where you have a American Express card or a Visa card, or you'll be able to walk into a car dealership and lease a car on your EIN.
So
Supported by the business.
Sure. Are you saying that business owners should establish credit by getting a corporate credit card, using the credit card, paying that balance off timely? Is that what you're saying as well?
Well, yes, but when you work with Galt, we're building your corporate credit score. So if your business credit card has your name on it, you've personally guaranteed it. And that's where the line gets blurred. So there's personal credit, then there's credit that's extended to your business with your personal guarantee. And that still has your personal guarantee. So it's still carrying a risk. And then there's corporate credit, which is truly extended to the EIN, supported by the business, separate from the business owner. So we help business owners get away from personal guarantees.
Right. So there are not very many firms like J. Galt, if I understand you correctly. Is that right?
Correct. We are the only company offering the software with white glove credit service at this time.
So, so basically, it's a lot of it's something that business owners tend to overlook, and it's something they should pay attention to, because establishing a credit on your own at the business level certainly will enhance, just like our podcast here, building a better business, because that gives you a platform for further growth. I'm assuming that's correct.
Yes. And our process takes 8 to 12 months. And the whole key is to pay your bills on time or early. That is what is the success to this.
Yep.
And we like to see our members grow their credit score quickly. And we guarantee $50,000 at the end of 12 months if you follow our advice at the minimum, because the more you spend, the faster it grows.
Yeah, so certainly you just have to be able to establish that track record. And I'm assuming many business owners just naturally assume that, just like your personal credit, that takes off by itself. But from what I'm hearing from you, you have to do some items on your own to get that to happen.
Yes, I've worked with business owners that are spending $100,000 a month on a business credit card that's extended with their personal guarantee, and they're paying it off in full, and they're not growing their credit score. And so they were not aware of that.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about your firm. How big is J. Galt? You're a managing member. How many other Linda Hynes are there that's part of your team?
A little over 100, and our firm is just over 2 years old, and we grew 700% last year.
Wow.
Because what we're doing is new. When we're disruptors to the credit industry.
So what is your typical client? Is it a small business, medium-sized business? What would be a typical client for you?
Businesses up to $5 million are still using personal guarantees. So an ideal client is a business owner who wants to get out from under those personal guarantees. We are helping several industries. Franchise owners are business owners that usually get their franchise by providing a personal guarantee. So they're an ideal client for us, because once they build their corporate credit, they'll be able to buy more stores without personal guarantees. Okay. We're helping truckers and contractors and real estate developers as well.
So those are the key industries. Or are there any others?
We can help every industry. We can really help every industry. I mean, I can help manufacturers and restaurants as well.
Okay. And your firm is national, or is it global?
It's national, and they have to have a United States taxpayer ID for us to help them.
Okay, so
you're
not in the global arena just yet. Is that your plan over time, or is that something you don't see in the near term?
I don't see that in the near term.
Okay, sure. All right. So we're just about nearing the completion of our time allotment here. You covered quite a bit, and I'm sure there's a lot more they can find out. Is there anything in our discussion up to this point that we didn't cover that you want to have our audience be aware of?
Well, building corporate credit takes a little bit of time. So the best time to start building is now.
Is now. So basically, year one or earlier. I mean, if you can. Right?
Yes. We are working with investors who invest in startups as well, because they understand the value.
Great. Okay. And then where can we go to find out more about you and your company? Just give us website, phone numbers, whatever you want us to do.
My telephone number is 312-720-7086. And my email address is lhynes@j galt.io. And my website is jgaltio/LHYNES.
Terrific. Well, this has been enlightening, and I think many of our business owners out there don't realize that they're going to have to take some steps going forward to start building that credit that will be so useful in terms of building their businesses going forward. So, Linda, thank you so much for sharing your insights. My audience members, thank you so much for joining us, and we hope to see you again on another edition of Building Better Businesses. Thank you so much.